A gente vai ter que ajudar. Sabe, deixa eu ver se ele vai. Já tá querendo ir, né? Ó, já foi. Olha que maravilha.
Olha, eles ainda vem.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California, here at daybreak. 42 degrees this morning. It's a little chilly, and there's an offshore wind already starting to manifest itself and blow out to sea here. It's a gorgeous morning. We've got so much for you here this morning on the Saturday morning briefing. We're going to zoom you around the world a little bit. Go down to the Amazon. We'll check out Zihuatanejo. We'll look at the Baja Peninsula. And of course, we'll focus here in Southern California and Northern Baja, Ensenada, San Quintin, areas like that. And of course, we'll talk lobster, surf fishing, and so much more. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good Saturday morning, my friends. Oh, thank God it's still a little bit warm because I need it down here in my swim trunks and bare feet like a maniac at daybreak in Surfside, California. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. If you tick the bell, you'll be notified when there is new content. Also, if you subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, that would be deeply appreciated. Share these videos with a friend. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You can catch us there. January the 21st, we'll be at La Fogada in Sherman Oaks, California from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. It's a great time to come down and meet all the Friedman Adventures family members. That's you, all of you, who've given us millions and millions of views on our social media and right here on our YouTube channel. Deeply appreciate that. April 4th through the 9th, we're on board the Independence 5-day trip out of course, Point Loma Sportfishing in San Diego. That's going to be a great one. Call the Independence office right now and get tuned up on that great trip. All right, let's go to the Amazon. That's right, Brazil, where our friend Steve Yatomi. Steve is such a great and dear friend. You can meet him, by the way, at the Fred Hall Show in Long Beach that's coming up January 25th through the 28th at the Long Beach Convention Center. I highly recommend you do it. He is from Adventure Travel Alliance, and he's in the Amazon right now, fishing an area we call the Rio Negro, the Black River. And the Rio Negro is kicking out all kinds of great peacock bass. They're releasing those fish as they catch them, and also some aropaimas. It's really a great trip. And if you've ever thought about doing such a trip, guys like Howard Hada, they love this trip because it is so unique. Not only do you get these great peacock bass to bite for you, but you also get the adventure of going to the Amazon. And let me tell you something about Steve. He'll make this trip so enjoyable for you. You won't be able to believe it. It is an awesome trip down to the Amazon, and the fish are chewing, as you can see, but you get that whole other cultural experience out of this. So that is really great stuff. Joe sport fishing in the Bay of LA. Now that's down the Baja coast here, or I should say the Baja Peninsula on the other side. And man, they've had some full speed yellowtail action here. Pretty good cabrilla, but the yellows are chewing it up on the iron and really biting well. So Bay of LA, Bahia de Los Angeles is biting really, really well right now. How can you beat that? Also, we're taking a look at Zihuatanejo, our dear friend Louis Prieto from It's For Real Sport Fishing and the Tequila Bar in Ensenada, Baja, California, 70 miles from the Mexican-American border. He's in Zihuatanejo in the state of Guerrero, where I lived for a year. And man, he said the fishing inshore, a little tough right now, but they did manage to get this nice Dorado, his lovely, cute daughter, Marilyn Prieto, with that nice flathead. Also, he said wide open bonita inshore, but they tried for roosters and some other fish. It was a little bit slower for that, but they're still having a really great time down there in Zihuatanejo as we zoom you all over the place right now. All right, let's talk Cabo San Lucas. Our friend Sean Morgan down there, they're picking an occasional wahoo. They're catching some Dorado. They're also catching the occasional marlin down there. Not bad. It gets a little breezy during this time of the year. When we move into the spring, we see a lot of breeze, especially up there in the East Cape. A lot of windsurfers go down there into that neck of the woods during that time. But in between, there's been some halfway decent fishing. La Paz, same kind of a situation. We had a lady who was out just the other day, came in from Canada, went to tail hunter sport fishing, and man, oh man, she had a Dorado and some yellowfin tuna and also a marlin. So in between the wind, you can catch some nice fish down there. Laredo, still some really good yellowtail action going on there. San Quintin, some good yellowtail action at times on the yo-yo iron. Lots of rockfish and really excellent shot of halibut from time to time there out of San Quintin. And finally up to Ensenada, as I mentioned, only 70 miles below the border. There has been copious amounts of rockfish. There's also been some decent calico bass fish and occasional yellowtail, and those big bonita are still around the Baja Peninsula, looking really good right now. How can you beat that? Let's go now to the long range situation. Lisa Paul is on board the Royal Polaris, and she said, man, these yellowfin tuna are nice fish, and they're all sinker rig fish for the most part. Royal Polaris putting together another great trip with Captain Roy Rose. Lisa said she can't thank the crew enough for their expertise and their great service and friendship. It really sounds like the RP is doing well. The Independence is into another big day of big yellowfin tuna. I mean, the majority of these fish are 120 to 200 plus pounds for the Indy right now. They focus their nights on catching big bait so they can catch those big fish. And for both those guys and anybody else down there fishing long range right now, there's a smattering of decent wahoo fishing in there and also some pargo and some other species, but focus is on the big yellowfin and the wahoo, and they have been providing great action for everybody down there in that neck of the woods. Hey, I forgot to mention to you that my dear friend Ricky Carbajal is just a little ways below Ensenada. I'm not sure exactly where Ricky's hanging out, but he's down there with his nephew. Take a look at those big old cod that they caught down there. Ricky loves going to Mexico Lindo, and he's having a great time down there with his nephew right now. So I don't know how the heck you can beat that. All right, let's get up here to the Southern California area and talk a little bit about what's going on now. Rockfish is off limits here in SoCal right now. So you can't fish for rockfish, but man, you can fish for calico bass, sand bass, halibut, sand dabs, hoop net for lobster. There's a lot to do right now. And while it's a little chilly, you can see that ocean looks really nice. Should be a lovely day on the water. So from the border, and I should mention that out of San Diego, if you jump on a boat, they can make a left-hand turn and go into Mexican waters and fish cod. They're allowed to do that because in Mexico, the rockfish bite is still open. So it's closed there in SoCal, open in Mexico. So they can go down and they do quite well by doing just that. But some of those guys are also focusing on the bass, and they're doing pretty well on that. Daily Double has been doing that kind of stuff. I know the Dolphin likes to fish the cod, and also he gets going on a halibut kind of derby during this time of the year. So pretty good fishing at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing, and also all the way up into the Santa Monica Bay. In fact, last night, twilight fishing, John Flood and Earl the Pearl McVicker, they were on the New Del Mar, and they had some really excellent bass fishing at night. Remember, the fluorocarbon is a must. And again, you're fishing most of the time with a lead head. Sometimes a sliding egg sinker will work really well. And when you get a bite on that fresh dead or live squid, you better start winding fast because those bass live in really bad neighborhoods, terrible neighborhoods. I'm talking about all kinds of structure, rocks and shipwrecks and all kinds of things that those bass come out of their little crevice, bite your bait, and go back in there and saw you off. So you've got to make sure that you are winding fast, and that will really help you to put more and more fish on the boat. No question about that. It's a little chilly down here. Hey, a couple of notable catches also. Tracy Hartman, check out that halibut she had. Nice going there. Kyla Louis with her personal best barred perch. She's back at it again. I know I butchered your name there. Jeremy Fontenot, He's down there fishing Silver Strand Beach, and he had some barred perch fishing live. Ghost shrimp, good job, Jeremy. And Glenn Salas with a nice barred perch also, which opens the door to talk about the surf fishing bite in the colder water months here in the wintertime in SoCal and northern Baja. Barred perch start to move in. They like that cold water, and they kind of chase everything out of here that likes the warm water, like corvina. You catch one occasionally, but most of the time it's going to be barred perch. Also some yellowfin croaker in Baja and here in SoCal right now. And of course, you still have a chance for some flatfish, some halibut. Throwing a Lucky Craft type lure is a great way to take those halibut. Also, a small chrome jig works really, really well, like a Castmaster or a crocodile. You know, perfect conditions here today to do just that kind of thing. Bait really works well in the wintertime, so don't forget that. If you fish bait, you are likely to come up with some pretty good fish. And I'm talking about worms or sand crabs if you can find them. Pretty difficult during this time of the year. If you put away some grunion from the previous year, that grunion is a really good bait. Really all works well. And you can get all that bait right down the street from me, 10-minute walk from here at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. You can load up on all the bait you could possibly want. I'm telling you right now, they have it all for you at Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Bait, tackle, and I'm talking tackle for trout fishing, for surf fishing, for big game fishing, all of it at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. You can check that out. Hey, I do want to go over the weather. Weather's going to be good. I don't see any problem with wind here in the next few days, so it should be lovely time for you to get out on the water. Don't forget, whale watching season right now, and I mention that because it's a great family experience to see the gray whale migration from the Bering Sea. Well, you're not going to go to the Bering Sea, but those gray whales are coming from the Bering Sea, and they're passing by Southern California on their way to the warm water lagoons of Baja, California. You can check that out. Also, I wanted to mention to you that there's been quite a few orcas bumping around our coastline. So somebody will find those this weekend, I'm sure, because there'll be a lot of whale watching boats out and a lot of guys sport fishing also. And those orcas have been dining on dolphin and occasionally attack gray whales also. So what a unique experience to see Mother Nature right here in Southern California. It is absolutely crazy. All right, don't forget the Bart Hall Show is coming up at the end of the month. You're going to want to check that out. Also, from 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California, Alex Berlin. He was out trout fishing, braving the elements. I mean, that's what I call a fisherman, willing to go out there and suck it up with the snow falling. And man, he had some beautiful trout. No question about that. Lobster has been excellent. I know Jason from the Amigo. The Amigo is a sport boat that runs out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, and he is the galley chef. He's been out on a regular basis catching limits of lobster, which is 7 lobster per hoop netter. It's been really good here. Locally, it's been great at Catalina Island. Lobster hoop netting is a lot of fun, and several landings offer that. In case you don't have your own boat, you can jump on a boat and go out and have some fun doing that. No question about it. A reminder again, that long-range trip, 5 days on the Independence with Friedman Adventures, April 4th through the 9th. There's the phone number or the website. You can call and get more information about that trip today. We would love to see you on that great trip. I'm going to go grab an elf right now because Greg Bates and I are headed to Mexico with a bunch of clothing and all kinds of stuff that we're taking down to some people who really appreciate all that you have done with your donations and so much more. If my morning briefing's a little late tomorrow, sometimes the uploads in Mexico Lindo are a little bit slow. We'll try to figure that out for you. And perhaps I'll be coming to you live from Mexico here very, very soon as the wind starts to blow and my body starts to shiver a little bit. 42 or 3 degrees, I forget what it was, but it is a little chilly down here right now. All right, I don't know what to tell you, man. We've zoomed you all around the world. We've seen some great stuff. There's all kinds of great fishing taking place. and it's going to be a really beautiful weekend. All right, take care. I'll see you at the Bard Hall show. I'll see you January the 21st over there at La Fogata. And if I don't see you at those events, you know, I hope to see you somewhere really, really soon. Have a really wonderful Saturday and a great weekend, my friends.